So I couldn't stand up straight for 2 weeks following DIEP surgery. I needed a walker. I had to sleep on the couch. But honestly, none of those things is what surprised me about DIEP surgery. So I was excited for my DIEP surgery because to me it felt like an ending to like a chapter of my cancer stuff. And honestly, I was ready to close that whole damn book, okay? And honestly, getting my life back, being able to wear a bathing suit again because I wasn't able, when you have a bilateral mastectomy, you feel odd in any shirt you wear. And so getting my life back, being cancer free again, and getting at least a version of me back that was partially normal. So, me personally, I wanted reconstruction. So when you when you have bilateral mastectomies, you have, two choices. You have staying flat, or you have doing breast reconstruction. Then when you choose, okay, well, I'm not going to stay flat. And me personally, I couldn't do it. I know my doctors tried to talk me into staying flat, and I was like, that's just not my road. I had been pretty flat chested for most of my life, so I always wanted some kind of boobs, some kind of something there. I'm not sure what I can say on YouTube, especially when it has to deal with breast cancer. You would think I could be able to say whatever I want, but just to be safe, I'll use other verbiage, like I said, just in case. So I was really hopeful for my surgery. And if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes that I just wrote, and there goes my pen. I'm looking at my notes so that we don't get off track. Shh, I'm recording, guys. I'm looking at my notes so that I don't get off track because I'll start to ramble, and then it'll be like 2 hours down the road, and y'all be like, "What is this girl like? She's just like going off on something." Anyway, so where was I? So I felt really hopeful for I was really excited actually for my breast cancer reconstruction. That was one part of my journey I could possibly control just a little bit. A little bit more than, the cancer treatment stuff and the radiation and, how you react to all that stuff, but, or how your body reacts rather. So I was really excited for it. And like I said, I always wanted something here. I was always flat chested, a 36A. Excuse me. And so I was pretty excited for the reconstruction part. And so that was the part when I started getting closer, like when I started going through radiation and I already had my single mastectomy because they were going to do the other side of my mastectomy during my reconstruction. And so I was really hopeful. I wasn't as terrified as most women are. I was cautious, but I wasn't terrified. And so I think I looked at it from a different lens. I looked at it from gratefulness that we have these procedures that we can do, to have somewhat natural breasts, um, again, there I said it again, to have natural, breast. You know what? They shouldn't stop me from saying that. If they try to stop me from saying that, I'm gonna fight it. So, somewhat natural breasts, somewhat natural breast tissue, even. The stomach tissue is very similar to the breast tissue, and so that the flap surgeries. I don't know if you know all the kinds, but I felt like DIEP flap or deep flap was the one that was a little less invasive, so it didn't take your stomach muscles, and it wasn't implants. So, like I said, when you choose breast reconstruction, then your options kind of open up to implants, or do you want tissue based reconstruction, which would be flap reconstruction. Um, and I chose at least tissue based because I know I would look at pictures of the implant reconstruction and I would talk to my surgeon and they would say because the tissue is so there's just nothing there after a mastectomy. They scrape all that out. And so when you put implants underneath that, obviously we all know implants ripple and you can see that underneath the skin. And so I didn't want just a round, you know, breast there. I wanted something that looked half-ass natural. Okay, halfway natural. I mean, if you can see here, I'm sorry, this is inverted, so it's really making me not know which way to go. But you can see this little indentation here. That's actually from my port, my chemo port, and obviously it's indented because, like I said, there's no tissue there. There's no even um like it's just a skin. It's just skin. So and skin is like as thin as like a sheet. Okay, so if you think of if you put a shoe underneath just a sheet, you're gonna see the shoe. You're gonna see the outline of the shoe, right? Um, Whereas flap surgery takes that tissue, and I'm sure if you're here, you already know this. Flap surgery takes that tissue from your tummy, minus the muscle. Well, deep flap. There is tram flap, and they do take the muscle, but in deep flap, they don't take the muscle, and so you don't have those issues with muscle. But they do take the fat, the tissue, and everything underneath there. And plus, they give you a flat stomach afterwards. And so, like I said, in my mind, I'm like, dang, like, honestly, I get a lot from, breasts, getting breasts, and getting a flat stomach. I have 5 children, but at the same time, I'm pretty petite. Not petite. I'm not short. So I'm 5'6", but I'm a small framed person. And so I did not have much tissue there. And so most other plastic surgeons probably would have told me no, that they couldn't do the deep flap with as little tissue as I had. And if I can insert pictures in here, I am going to. Actually, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can just do this. Hang on just a minute. Let's see. Window capture. Yep. Window. Show windows with empty names. Show full screen. Okay. We're going to try this. Let me see if it'll let y'all. Cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. It'll let me do this. I think this one is my deep flap. Okay, so let's see. I think this one is just showing you the pillows on the couch and how I had this set up. Okay. I really hope this is showing all this. I'm sorry. I don't know if this is actually showing y'all anything or not, guys. Hang on. Let me see. Desktop. I don't even know if it's allowing y'all to see my screen. I don't know what is going on. Okay. So, where was I? All right. Another thing that was pretty, I guess, difficult to wrap my head around was the having to cough with the pillow up against your stomach again, and that's not anything new to women that have had what's the word? I know y'all are screaming at me from the camera telling me the word C-section. This is not new to women. Any women that have had C-sections, coughing with a pillow. It is different, though. Will say it is different. And I did get the question a lot as, is this like a C-section? No, no. It's very similar in ways and in certain aspects. Yes, I did feel like I was kind of back at that C-section spot, except for you don't have a newborn, which is very helpful. I had a 1.5-year-old, so a little bit worse because you have to chase a 1.5-year-old around. It's not a newborn to where they're quiet laying in a little chair. I really hope y'all can see me because I honestly am not sure what I just did with all the other clicking that I just did. But okay, a few things. So why I slept on the couch. One, I did not feel that it was necessary to buy one of those lift recliners. So I was like, okay, what is an easier way that I can get out of bed? Because our bed is pretty high. And I was like, I know there's not going to be any way that I'm going to be able to raise up, get out of bed, even prop some of my pillows up on my bed. It wasn't going to be possible. I tried it before surgery, and no. So I was like, you know what? We'll just do the couch. The couch is close to the ground, and I had one of those kind of couches that had that like chaise lounge on it. So I'm like, okay, this will be good. This will be perfect. If you have a couch that has a recliner on it, that would be great too. And just sleep in the recliner part of the chair, because you don't have to do much to get out. Just, if you can't use your legs to close it, just roll over. Always roll over, okay? So if I could show you the video, I would show you how I did it. So I'm going to try to upload those afterwards and maybe edit them in. But you just roll over to get out. And honestly, it was a lot easier to stand up from the couch, okay, than to stand up from my bed. And then also, if I had to get up in the middle of the night, I wouldn't wake the baby because the baby was in our room. So it was hard being away from my baby and my husband. And also, all of our pillows slowly migrated to the couch because I kept needing more pillows to either stay comfortable or stay, sitting up. Um, so, my husband wasn't happy about losing all his pillows. I will say one thing I did get, because I did not buy much before the surgery. One, we don't have a lot of money. Two, I didn't feel it was necessary. I bought the things that I thought was necessary. And then I'll also tell you what I think is not necessary that I did buy in the end of this video. So stay till the end. So I eventually, okay, let me say this. When I was in the hospital, because you have to stay at least 2 days in the hospital. It depends on your doctor, but you have to stay at least the 48 hours in the hospital. So that first day after surgery, I was wanting to get up. I was wanting to get up out of the hospital bed. And the nurse was just shocked. She was like, "What do you mean you want to get up?" Like most women, they don't want to get up. Because you're in a lot of pain after surgery, obviously. But like I said, I was already looking at it from a different point of view, going into it. And also, I'm also the type of person that I have to get up. I have to get up and move around. And she was like, "No." She was like, I don't think you can even stand." And I'm like, "Well, can I just sit on the edge of the hospital bed, because it is killing my back to lay in this hospital bed?" And she was like, "Do you want me to set you up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. But I want to sit on the edge of the bed. I want to feel my legs moving." Like, I would say that's the one thing that I didn't like about it. Okay, I did not like being immobile. And them basically forcing you to be immobile. The next day, they finally got me moved to the chair, which I was, I guess I was a little worse off than I thought I was. Like, I thought I could walk at that point. But I was able to convince them to let me get the walker and start moving down the hall. Because the nurse came in later on, one of the nurses that was like switching, she came in later on and she was like, "We need to get her up out of bed." Or her, and the lady looked at her and she's like, "No, she's already been moving down the hall." And she's like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, she's already moved down the hall. Like, she's good." They were like, "Oh my God." I'm just like, I want to get home. I want to get home. That was my main thing. I want to get home. I want to walk. It hurts to sit down for me. It like really hurts my back. And so I will say the pain didn't surprise me. The walker didn't surprise me. Even the drains. The drains did not really surprise me. I mean, I kind of knew what I was going into. And because I already had 4 surgery before that, 4 breast cancer type surgeries before that. And so I kind of already knew what I was walking into. I had already talked to the doctor. I asked fully about drains. Okay. She was like, "Well, you're probably going to at least have 4. So you're going to have 1 in this one in this one on your hip, and 1 on this hip." I will say I did not expect the location they were on your hip, because they're right where your pants sit, and it is uncomfortable right where those drains are sitting and where they go in at. That was uncomfortable. But it wasn't a big deal that I had that many drains. But I wanted to get them removed as quickly as possible. Obviously, anybody does. But I will tell you, they will only do at the max two drains a visit. Um, so even if, all three drains or all four drains are outputting just a little bit, they will not take out more than two at any visit, because even taking out one, your excuse me, your drain amount. So when they take out one, your drain amount on the other two or other three is going to increase because they took out the one. And that's just your body healing. That's just your body healing, and they don't want hematomas building underneath the skin, so that's why they do that. They did have to do a second surgery. Right after my first surgery, they had to do a second surgery. And I forgot about this. I completely forgot about this. So I woke up out of surgery. My mom was there, and she said they were scared because I was in surgery a lot longer than the 6 to 8 hours that my surgeon assumed I'd be. And they hadn't heard an update or anything, so they were really scared. They said it was kind of difficult to get me awake. But anyway, so after a little while of me sitting there, I asked the doctor, I said, so 48 hours? And she's like, yeah. She was like, yeah, you'll be in the hospital 48 hours. I said, starting when I came in the hospital or starting when I woke up? And she's like, starting when you woke up. And I'm like, oh, okay, I want to go home. So later on that evening, one of my breasts started flooding with fluid, and it started growing. And they tried to cut it open right there in the hospital room. They tried to cut it open, tried to drain some of that excess fluid. It wasn't working. So she's like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to take you back into surgery. And I'm like, well, that's fine. Just do what you need to do. So they did that, and I came back out of surgery again for the second time that day. And that one was a little bit scarier because everybody was not prepared for it, I guess you could say, and you could tell. But then when I woke up, well, no, before they took me to surgery, I asked the doctor. I was like, "Does this mean all my stuff's gonna reset?" Shh. I was like, "Does this mean all like my time frame that I'm in the hospital is gonna reset?" And the doctor or the surgeon, plastic surgeon, she was like, no. She was like, probably not. She's like, we'll just have to see when you wake up. She's like, but probably not. She's like, you're pretty active. She's like, so I'll probably just, Max, close your door. She's like, I'll probably just set you from where you started, and not reset it. So I woke up out of surgery, and the nurse was like, okay, we need to get you to eat. Do you want to eat? And I'm like, yeah, I can eat. She's like, okay, well, no. First, they didn't order me dinner. And I'm like, why didn't y'all order me dinner? She's like, well, we didn't think you'd want to eat. And I'm like, heck yeah, I want to eat. Like, what are you talking about? So by that time, the kitchen was closed. So they had to call the kitchen and be like, hey, can you make this patient some food? I was pretty mad about that. I was pretty upset about that. And I'm like, just because usually patients don't want to eat after surgery doesn't mean every patient doesn't want to eat after surgery. Me and my sister have a pretty hardcore stomach. And so I was like, yeah, I want to eat. And so that's the thing about me is I'm small, but I eat. Like, no, I want to eat. I eat ice cream like every single day. I know most of you probably don't want to hear that, but I do. That's where my butt comes from. Anyway, so that kind of upset me. And then I was talking to my mom about, hey, I have one more day. And the nurse looked at me. She was in there, and she looked at me. She goes, no. She goes, it's reset because you just got out of surgery again. And I was like, I was like, no, the surgeon told me it wouldn't be reset. And she goes, I'm sorry, honey, it is reset. She's like, you're going to be in here for another 2 days. And so that made it 3 days that I was in the hospital. And I started bawling, crying. I was just like, no, I am not going to be in here an extra day. And so they called the surgeon, and the surgeon was like, well, it just depends on how she feels, how well she's doing. And I'm like, okay, great. We can go off of that. That's fine. But don't tell me you're just going to force me to be here an extra 2 days just because that's what, every other patient needs to do. And so I honestly forgot about that, but that really upset me. Because they're going off of what the majority of patients do and feel, and I didn't like that because it didn't make me feel like a human. It made me feel like I was just a number on some board. And that's never good. That never feels great. So, anyway, let's get on back on track. Now, so I will say what surprised me was that. And then when I got home, it wasn't, having to use the walker every single day. It wasn't even not being able to stand up straight for 2 to 3 weeks. Because I was, like I said, pretty small. And so I didn't have much of a stomach to begin with. So they had to stretch it pretty good. Okay. So she told me I was going to be hunched over for a while, which, yeah, I was having some back pain. Really, though, it was not being the caregiver anymore, being the one that was cared for, having to ask for help with showers. My husband had to wash my hair because I couldn't, lift my hands up above here. He had to hold my drains outside the shower because I didn't know those little white things with the blue tabs in your bag were drain belts. Go figure. Why didn't y'all tell me these were drain belts? What the heck? And so I didn't know that until my sixth surgery, with drains. I'm like, these have been sitting here this whole time, and I could have been using these. That would have been so helpful to know because they give you two. That way you can use one in the shower, and then while that one's drying, you put the other one on. Oh my God, they're so helpful. And so my husband had to hold those outside the shower while trying to wash my hair for me. And I'm like, you're not doing it right. You're not washing my hair right. Which I had to just let it go. I had to just let it go because I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. But after 3 weeks, I had to get out of the house. So, and I still had drains. So I had to put my drains either in my pockets. So I had these baggy, stretchy pants from Amazon. So I would put my drains in those pockets. Or I had this side purse that I would wear and it was empty and I would put my drains in there. Which you could still see the little tubes hanging out from the drains. Honestly, I was just like, whatever, I don't care. I had to use the little motor carts too at Walmart. You do what you gotta do, okay? You use what you have from home and you do what you gotta do, girl. But I'm telling you, it's not as bad as everybody makes it seem, especially knowing you're going to live the rest of your life with natural breasts. It is the closest thing to natural breasts that you could possibly get. If you want more volume, they'll give you more volume. I mean, I understand the downtime. I completely get that. But think of the downtime you're going to go through if you get implants because those do have to be replaced. And more often than not, they have to be replaced every 5 to 10 years. And so if you're planning on living a lot longer than, 20, 30 more years, then think of how many times you're going to have to go into surgery and think of that downtime. So, let's see. So what I would skip getting what I don't think is necessary. Like I said, the lift recliner chair is not necessary. Um, the what was those machines that people got in? I don't. Oh, what is it called? Like a hydration machine or something. They go to like a facility and they go get in them. I'm sorry, I'm not up to date on all this stuff, but I don't think that's necessary. Just keep yourself hydrated. Um, drink some water. Drink a lot of water. Honestly, through recovery, that'll push you through. Honestly, I don't think the lift recliner chair was necessary because I feel like if you're using that and it's pushing you up, you're not using any muscles for yourself. I mean, you're using some, but my stomach is pretty flat. Okay, let me see if I can show y'all. Hold on. It's. I mean, I don't. And you see that the scarring is it tip, which it's like I don't know, a year out now, a year and a half out, 2 years, maybe 2 years out. Um, and I use these. Oh, I got these to show y'all. I use these scar sheets. These are very good for any kind of scarring you have. Sorry, microphone. These are very good for any kind of scarring you have. Fix my camera. Any kind of scarring you have, okay? It actually says they're better for like scars that not better, but they're really good for scars that it feels like a second skin almost, guys. These things are amazing. Okay, I still use them. So I would get some of these. Get one of them. They're reusable. But I did not think it was necessary for. I only got one pack of bras. I'm trying to think what else they said you like you have to have blah blah blah. Buy some aquifer, which is fairly cheap. Um, and mm, make sure you have those drain belts. Make sure you have the walker. Which, like I said, your insurance should pay for the walker. I would fight them on it if they do not fight them on that thing because you need that. That is absolutely necessary. And use the motor carts at Walmart or at HEB when you're at the store. You're gonna get weird looks, okay? Because when you're sitting down like this, it looks like you're an able-bodied person, and that's why I would stand up sometimes like this and like go and try to grab something that way people would see that I am in need of the damn motor cart. But I mean, honestly, don't worry about what other people think. Who cares? They're never gonna see you again. I mean, even people in your town, they're rarely gonna see you. So here's what I would tell another mom going through this. Do your research, but ultimately, it's gonna come down to you personally, how you feel, what you think is best for you, what your plastic surgeon, thinks that they can do for you. And I mean, how many surgeries do you want to go through in your lifetime? Does it not bother you if you had natural breasts? Does it not bother you, to go flat? Honestly, um, do you want to have implants? I mean, most women don't care either way. A lot of women just don't want to go through the extensive surgery of DIEP flap. But like I said, then you're going to go through a lot of surgeries through implants. And then there's the chance of them rupturing. And I would say if you have a damn good surgeon, um, for deep lap, then I would, me personally, I would do it because it just feels more natural. They're soft. Um, I mean, I wear swimsuits. I don't think a damn person can tell whether these are real or not. Okay, they're and let me see how much I can show y'all guys. See, they don't. There's no. I'm trying to see if I can show y'all. There's no indentation. That's on my cancer side. I got, like I said, I got bilateral mastectomy. So I feel like natural breast. So I used Dr. Honoré. If you're anywhere near Texas, I used Dr. Honoré from Austin Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery. Dr. E. Honoré. She was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And honestly, I would travel for her. She was, I would say, the best out there. Y'all probably have heard of Dr. Potter. I went to her and I just didn't feel the connection. And so that's when I got a second opinion from Austin Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery. Dr. Honoré is going to tell you what she thinks. So she will not give you any fluff. So let's see. And I had to quit smoking for a deep lap. So if anybody's curious about that, ask me down in the comments. And if I get enough questions about it, then I'll do a video about it. But if it's just one or two questions, then I have no problem answering your questions about it. I'm pretty open, so any questions you have, go ahead and put them down in the comments. So, I would say mainly if you're preparing for deep lap surgery, sorry, if you're preparing for deep lap surgery, don't focus on doing everything perfectly. Don't focus on everybody's telling me to get this because trust me, everybody told me I needed the recliner lift chair. Okay. And I needed I think these pillows and I needed blah, blah. Trust me, I just used everything in my house. I went around looking in my house trying to find stuff that I could use. Um, because when you're poor, you do that. You just figure it out. There were some things, like I said, the scar tape that I got. Um, a little pack of zip up bras. You do need those bras that come around here like this, okay? You don't want to be trying to, put your bra on behind your back. Um, and ask your surgeon. Ask your surgeon, hey, what should my insurance pay for? What are some things that I can get through my insurance? Because I got those socks, those uncomfortable tight socks through. I forget. I can't think of the word right now, but I got those through my insurance as well. So ask your surgeon, what will my insurance, pay for? Call your insurance company. Or look it up before you call your insurance company. That way you can tell them, no. Y'all are supposed to pay for this because it is breast reconstruction surgery. It is part of your treatment plan. Okay. So don't let your insurance tell you BS. That's another video topic. So use the Walmart cart, use the walker, use the pillows, accept any help. Okay. My mom came over for a few days and helped me, and I had to ask my husband for help. My husband is that person that's gonna always ask me, hey, you need help getting up? Hey, you need help in the shower? Hey, of course he's gonna ask me if I need help in the shower, but you need help going to the restroom, and I'm like, I'll figure that one out. It is hard to wipe your butt after deep lap surgery because your arms hurt, everything hurts. But I would expect that. That way, when it happens, you were already expecting it, right? Um, take the medications they give you. Okay, take your pain medications a little bit early. Don't take them too early, because then they're not going to help with your pain. So take it when your pain starts to happen, and then it'll work for it. But if you take it too early, your brain doesn't know that it was supposed to be working for pain. Okay, so don't take it too early either, and don't take it too late. So it's kind of like, credit. You don't want to pay early, and you don't want to pay late. You want to pay right on time. The same thing with pain medication, okay? So, and also remember, recovery is temporary, okay? Oh my God, is it? I have not been muted this whole time, have I? I hope not. Oh my gosh. I hope I have not been muted this whole time. I just said all that. Okay, anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so recovery is temporary. I'm here if you have any questions. So, if you're preparing for surgery, though, what are you worried about? What is the one thing that's just like worrying you in your mind that might stop you from not either having breast reconstruction surgery or not going with, DIEP? What are you worried about? And then if you've already been through surgery, what surprised you most about recovery? I'm really curious. Because I know a lot of people's stories are not like mine. They weren't looking forward necessarily to this surgery. So I'm curious, what surprised you most about surgery, or about G-flap surgery or flap surgery? So, depending on the comments, I probably won't get any, but depending on the comments, I'll try to figure out next week's video. I do a video one every week because I'm doing my Instagram reels right now, and that's what I'm focusing on. But I try to be as honest as possible, and I am a tiny creator right now. So, there's my cat. I'm a tiny. What, Minnie? What is it? What is it, baby? Hang on just a minute. I'm almost done. So I have 5 children, 2 cats, 2 dogs, 7 chickens, plus more on the way. Hey, don't be brushing my hair with your claws, lady. Hang on. Just a minute. Hang on. She doesn't like to be loved on, but she wants to, I guess, claw me until I actually pet her, and then she's like, "No, I don't want you to pet me." Anyway, but yeah, I will see what the next video will be about, depending on what questions I get. But if you would like to, make sure you give me a follow, guys, so y'all don't miss out on any of the topics that I talk about. I talk about all cancer stuff, all kids stuff, and deep love recovery. So give me a follow so you don't miss out on that. And hopefully I can get you some questions answered as well. That's my main goal, is answering questions from other moms out there, or other people going through deep lap and cancer treatment. But make sure you leave a like. If this video was helpful at all to you, if you found a little bit of information in it, please leave me a like, and put a comment down below of what worries you the most, or what was the hardest for you, or surprised you the most in reconstruction surgery. So I really hope this wasn't muted this whole time, and I really hope I didn't flash anybody. Oh, and I do want to tell you, when you're using the walker, you will feel like a grandma. Okay, I wish I could show y'all the video. It is on my Instagram though. My Instagram is strong dot roots dot mama MOMMA. I'll put it down in the description. So that's strong dot roots dot mama, and that's on Instagram. But if y'all want to check it out, because I do have videos over there showing, what it was like going through afterwards. I believe the videos are with my drains removed, so I don't think I got any videos with my drains, but I'm going to look because that actually would be helpful for a lot of people. But thank y'all for being here, and I will see y'all next time.